Hey, what's up guys, Tactiholics here, and today we're breaking down a question that Pitbull Tactical gets asked quite a bit, as well as us. So being that we work pretty closely with Pitbull Tactical, a lot of people send us questions about how to set the holsters up, and one of the questions we get in terms of setting up the holster is the order of the hardware. So if you look down here, we have a couple of holsters, one with outside the waistband loops on it, one with inside the waistband clips and the wings attached to it. Regardless of running inside or outside the waistband, you're going to be looking at a setup similar to this. You have your holster, you have your hardware, and you have your mounting equipment or your mounting screws, your eyelets, and your rubber washers. So one of the things that I was asked recently that sparked this video is, what order do I have to put the hardware on in? Do I have to use the rubber washers? Yes, you do, and here is why. So the order that the hardware needs to be mounted in is the same regardless of running inside the waistband or outside the waistband. You see here I have the outside the waistband loops on this bloodline. It's hardware, washer, holster. Same thing with inside the waistband loops and the wings. It's hardware, washer, holster. And what happens is sometimes I'll get people that ask me, I'll go ahead and set this up quick, if they can just run the hardware straight into the holster with no rubber washers right there, and then maybe they put the rubber washers on top and then screw down through that rubber washer, or they don't use the washers at all. If you put the washers on the top of the holster and you screw down through that, that can lead to damaging the washer, which could possibly lead to the washer breaking or falling all the way off the holster. If that happens, you're in the position of having hardware straight up against the holster. What this washer does is it maintains some of the tension against the screws, and it helps keep your screws tight by having the washer between the holster and the hardware. It also allows for some amount of flex, particularly when talking about the wing attachments here. So if you look there, I can flex this wing, and you see how that washer is absorbing some of that flex in there and some of that stress. So by eliminating the washer, you basically have the female end of your rivets straight against the eyelets on the holster. That additional flex could damage and crack the eyelets or even the holster itself, and that's something that you definitely want to avoid. Another common setup problem that we hear people having quite a bit is over-tightening the screws. Now, whether or not you're using the washers, over-tightening the screws, again, puts additional stress on these eyelets inside the holster, and it can cause damage to the eyelets or to the holster itself, which is why they recommend that you use blue Loctite when setting up the hardware on your holster. As with any piece of gear, if you want things to stay in place and not loosen up, you should definitely throw some blue Loctite on there. And I would recommend, even still, while you Loctite your hardware on the holster, checking it every now and then, whether that's once a week or once a month. Just make sure that nothing's loosening up on there. But make sure that you follow this particular order of hardware, washer, and holster to get the maximum performance and reliability out of your Pitbull Tactical product. Thanks for watching, guys. We hope this clears up some of your questions about how to mount your hardware onto your Pitbull Tactical holster. We'll see you next time, and we never quit.